Wisdom, or Paññā, is the substrate of understanding that characterizes all the virtues. Without wisdom, none of the paramis would be cultivatable, since they all require comprehension. Now, what about intelligence? Is that the same thing as wisdom? Or can we cultivate wisdom from intelligence? And the first answer is no. Intelligence is usually not what the Buddha would call wisdom. But yes, we can receive wisdom from intelligence from time to time. This is because as diverse beings, we have to learn to become rounded and expansive by going through experiences and being able to see things from different points of view. With each successive life and each successive astrological combination in the psyche, this is part of the role of astrology and the four natural elements, for example. For those who are not intellectually inclined or mentally innovative by nature, they can gain a lot of wisdom when they discover that others around them are using their intellect and problem-solving skills at a higher capacity to live a more optimized life. Their eyes may open at the fact that they've been neglecting these air element thinking skills like researching and studying and analyzing, evaluating, looking at statistics and numbers and planning for rainy days, budgeting, and life hacks, so to speak. These thinking processes are necessary for raising the quality of our life by becoming more efficient and informed through knowledge and wit. They say that knowledge is power, and this is certainly true in our society, especially with things like relationships. A lot of people just go about their business on their own and don't consider pausing to look into the vast collection of dating and relationship advice that is available to us freely in books and videos online. And unfortunately, the majority of people struggle in this area because of ignorance. And then when we do get help later down the road and it's coming from a therapist, we're shown another interesting thing, which is something called cognitive reframing. Looking at situations from different points of view in order to change the way we feel about them. This is another intellectual practice. So the intellect can provide us some wisdom, just like the other natural elements. Earth, water, and fire, these elements or skandhas, or samskaras, they do provide wisdom too. They all provide different perspectives. So the intellect itself is limited. It belongs to its own distinct dimension in nature, and it's not the basis of virtue. Intelligence is merely the capacity to acquire and apply knowledge. The intellect only has the ability to analyze and compare, define, calculate, reason, and solve problems. It can understand the definitions of various emotions, and it can understand what people go through in a technical way, but it cannot comprehend what emotions feel like, and therefore has no capacity for empathy, compassion, or loving kindness. And wisdom, on the other hand, is the ability to use knowledge and emotional experience to make sound judgments. It involves understanding the complexities of life, discerning between significant, essential things and insignificant, irrelevant, or unhelpful things, and applying wisdom with superior emotions like compassion and joy. In short, intelligence is responsible for defining things and figuring out how to do things, whereas wisdom holds the very profound answer as to why certain things must be done or not, or done in a certain way. That is the key characteristic of wisdom. The knowledge that wisdom provides is always founded on love. This is not the case with intelligence, since we know that there are plenty of very intelligent or powerful people in the world who use their wit to carry out crimes or simply fulfill selfish intentions. So the Buddha, having attained wisdom upon his awakening, was able to discover that the most significant problem that all beings constantly face is the problem of suffering. Above all else, we need to learn what causes suffering and how to end it. Wisdom, therefore, is knowledge that is governed by love for the sole purpose of alleviating unnecessary suffering. And the Buddha also concluded that all suffering is ultimately unnecessary when we abide by the superior laws of nature persistently enough. This is a convincing differentiation that Buddhism has, that other religions, or at least modern denominations of Christianity, don't advocate. Buddhist scriptures explain everywhere that all progress and happiness depend entirely on the individual's own efforts and internal state of mind, not the help of a particular deity, a coming prophet, a master, or other external agency. Buddhism is not a faith-based religion this way because it encourages the very wise practice known as dhamma vichaya, which essentially means investigation. We are encouraged to scrutinize, analyze, and test everything we are uncertain of, including things we think we know, or we should believe in, like the Buddha, or the Dhamma, or the Sangha. The Eightfold Path consists of three basic categories, which are Sila, Samadhi, and Paññā. So the Eightfold Path is organized into these three parts. Paññā merely recovers the last two elements of the path, mindfulness and concentration, or Samadhi. These two mental qualities work together to produce wisdom. The Buddha explains if one is established in Sila, then Samadhi may arise. One who is established in Samadhi, there is no need to wish. May wisdom arise. Wisdom naturally arises and swells. Samadhi in this context is meant in its full sense. It is right concentration, or the fourth jhana. This experience also provides right view, again, but this time in the complete sense. The experience of this ranges from minor samadhis we receive as intuitive insights in meditation to the full awakening and perception of reality. This requires a lot of training in mindfulness and transmutation of sexual energy to give the mind the strength to sustain this effortless yet highly concentrated and liberated form of right view, or concentration, which can be internalized. Even loving kindness, to practice genuinely, requires wisdom because of the deep comprehension that is needed to be able to emanate love towards strangers and enemies. So is the case for all the perfections: energy renunciation, honesty, generosity, patience, determination, and so on. Wisdom is the core parami that allows the other virtues to develop. And even though it's the fourth perfection in the list, wisdom is found at the beginning of the Eightfold Path as right view, and arises again at the end of the path when we attain Samadhi. High virtues are well integrated and woven together by the laws of nature, so they cannot be easily isolated and developed individually.